Speaking of flat tires, perfect segue to Jack Perry. Now, Tony Schiavone was in the ring, and he introduced the former Jungle Boy. Here came Jack down to the ring and immediately snatched the microphone away from Tony, and Tony kept talking into his empty hand. And then he really did.
I know.
And then he just stood there while Jack Perry called out Jerry Lynn. And remember last week, Jerry Lynn had taken exception. Last week when we left the Space Family Robinson, Jerry Lynn had taken exception to Jack Perry maligning the ECW generation of wrestlers. And he'd come out and taken him to task for that. And Jack Perry said, well, if you show up next week, then I may kick your ass or something to that effect. And honestly, I didn't think it through. I thought we were going to get a match. And then I remembered when Jerry came out in street clothes and did his promo that he has a bad neck, and that's why he retired. But I was thinking maybe he's going to have, see if he can teach the kid anything. So we're not going to get a match. He comes out in street clothes, and he said if he beat Jack up, it would be child abuse, which is actually probably pretty close to the truth. But then because he's got the bad neck and the pins and etc., he called a friend from ECW. And this was where it wasn't really clearly laid out. He's called a friend that used to work for ECW. And he said, so what do you say, Jungle? And I was like, to what? There wasn't really a thing for him to respond to there. But then the fans started chanting RVD before any music hit. And then suddenly the music hit and it was RVD. How did they know?
His old music too from ECW.
I'm not an expert on that.
Well, Tony is, and Tony went and got the license for it.
How is this a band that he would have had to pay significant money to, or is this just somebody who was happy to get the work?
No, I think it was Pantera, so I think it was a band that was significant. I don't know how, because when he said someone else from ECW, my mind immediately went to, we just talked about the Bigelow Dark Side. Who's still standing that could work a match? I think Sabu can't work a match right now.
Right.
At least on a national television show.
He was on the show also, right. A completely different situation here not long ago and didn't light the world on fire with falling off the top rope.
So I didn't know, and the fans started chanting RVD, and I just seen something he did. At least I just saw the video. I don't know if it's new or not, that Inside the Ropes did an interview with RVD over in England. And I was watching, and I was like, man, he still looks like RVD. He looks like the same guy. So when the music hit and the place popped, they were in on it, but RVD still standing from ECW.
I was like, well, fuck, they've ruined their goddamn surprise here. But maybe people didn't hear it. Anyway, out he came. And he got face to face with Jack Perry, and Jack Perry rolled out and walked off. And as RVD and Jerry Lynn were conversing in the ring, Perry comes back with a chair and swings it, but RVD ducks the chair, jumps up and does a spin kick, but Jack Perry ducks that, bails to the floor, and leaves. And I get later on, we'll find out we're going to get a match next week. Rob Van Dam has always stayed in shape with his flexibility and etc. Here did it look like he was walking in I don't know how to phrase it. I don't want to make it sound like he was a cripple, but was he walking a little crooked? Is he still wrestling and having matches? And is that a good thing for him to want to do on a national TV show against this kid 30 years younger than him? I haven't seen Rob work in ages and eons.
I haven't seen him work, I don't think, since he left WWE the last time. I believe he went to Impact, and he's done various other things. I don't know if he's working a full-time schedule wrestling right now, but I would have to think there has to be a way to get something good out of at least, I'm not saying go 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, hopefully nobody will say that about any of these matches.
But a good few minutes with Rob Van Dam, you'll get, people will be happy to see him, and they'll be upset when Jungle Boy pins him. And I'm not going to completely shit once again.
Hopefully, will that be the finish? I'm not going to shit on it now, especially if they don't go too long, and especially if Jungle Boy doesn't win. Holy free holy.
No, but every week, I've enjoyed Jungle Boy's heel stuff so far, but every week he leans into it a little bit more. Just a little bit more. There's a little bit more than it was the last week. So I'm still optimistic this could work out and be something.
It sounds like a helicopter leaning into your property up there. Did you get the helipad opened up on the south wing?
The one time I say nothing about the background noise is the one time you mentioned the background noise. So now
that's the only time I've heard it.
God damn it.